Welcome to Rivalry Week. Welcome to the Scoop World Order. It is officially Michigan Week. Ohio State throttles Indiana. Ryan Day runs it in for a late touchdown with Will Howard, and I love that. That was great. Kirk Barton talked a lot of trash leading up to this thing, and Indiana was a little too cocky. They got smashed. And I told you guys all week, 5 stars over 3 stars. Our 5 stars came to play. Will Howard was magnificent. Jim Knowles, fewest yards allowed since 2007 to an opponent. So, yeah, he was in his bag today. I thought our defense was fantastic. After that first drive, it was a complete erasing of the opponent. So, really excited about that. We're going to take your questions as always. We're going to break some film down. But first, as always, if you guys enjoy our content, please leave us a like, click subscribe. Also, click the little alert bell. If you want to do something huge for us, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts. Also on Spotify. We are growing those platforms along with YouTube. We appreciate it. They're all completely free for you to subscribe to. And also, if you guys want the best in Ohio State football coverage, by far, join BuckeyeScoop.com. Our website is absolutely crazy right now. The message board is on fire. A lot of great football tonight. And it's Rivalry Week. It's Michigan Week. It's a great Christmas gift. If you have any questions, please reach out to us, BuckeyeScoop@gmail.com. But this is the week to get your Christmas shopping done. Get the best gift of all time, a membership to BuckeyeScoop.com. Get one for yourself. Get one for your favorite people that you'll be Christmas shopping for. But I'm going to bring in Santa's little helper, Nevadabuck. Nevada, a whooping. I just love Ryan Day scoring that last touchdown because Kirk Barton, again, this isn't James Madison. This isn't 1AA. This isn't sneak up on people and cute little Indiana. Like, you got to actually play somebody. You're not playing FIU anymore, and you're not playing Sheboygan State and some of these teams that these guys have been thrashing. And you got to come see the 5 stars, got to come see the Bucks, and the Bucks throttled them. And again, the moment was too big for Indiana. We smashed them. The crowd was excellent. I went to the first half of the game. It was loud. One of the loudest moments I've heard in the history of the shoe was after that. We convert on the 4th and 40 or whatever it was. It was deafening as we went into the end of the first quarter. The crowd, I think that was one of the moments of that, and obviously the punt, the punter dropping the ball were 2 gigantic moments in the game in terms of momentum. What are your thoughts initially as we finish up the game?
My thoughts are that Jim Knowles is really, really good, and I'm glad he's our defensive coordinator. And as we've talked about, killing narratives, but that's another top 5 opponent they just throttled. I think they held mighty Indiana to 151 yards of offense today, and sacked them 5-6 times. I lost track of the number of sacks. Defense was so good, and so that was great. Will Howard, what can you say about Will Howard? Was 22 of 26, 2 touchdowns, another rushing TD. He had that interception. Hard to really hang that on him when the ball's right in Jelani's hands. But what can you say about Ryan Day getting these guys ready? This game was personal. It felt that way all week. We were talking on the board about the Signetti comments got wide circulation on the team, man. Like that's the wrong type of motivation you want to give a group like Ohio State. He was disrespecting Ohio State. It started with those throwaway comments at that pep rally, but everything about him, he's just cocky and not respectful. And the guys really picked up on that and really, really embraced that. And you could tell the game was personal by the way the guys finished the game. As much as I love Trey Henderson too, what a play by Trey going down on the 1-yard line when he didn't need to do that. He could have run through the back of the end zone. Didn't need to do that. Didn't. And then they give Will Howard the brotherly shove and they get him into the end zone with a touchdown. Just loved everything about the game. So excited about the team. You can see, we didn't play a complete game today. We played okay, and we still beat Indiana by 23. Just playing okay. Obviously special teams continue to be special. You get a little luck when the guy drops the ball, but Caden Correa, the presence of mind, and you make a good tackle there. And then what can you say about Caleb Downs? Caleb Downs takes that ball. People are like, why do you have Caleb Downs back there on punts? These are safety. That's why you have Caleb Downs back there on punts, because he's got a special ability to do that, to break open a game. And Ohio State did what they're supposed to do, setting up the game with Michigan next week, which I'm going to be there. I'm so excited that I get this whole build up to that. And then after we take care of the Wolverines, we get a rematch with Oregon. I mean, what more could you ask for as an Ohio State fan? This team really, really delivered in a big way. This is only the first time in 14 years that a team has played 3 top 5 matchups um, in the regular season. And I don't think that I think the thing was 3 top 5 opponents. I don't even know where top 5 matchup where your top 5 and their top 5. I'm not even sure that's ever happened before. So Ohio State, continue to run on this kind of a historic run here in this first year of the expanded playoff. But we're getting better. I mean, the defense is really, really good, and the offense can attack. We can throw the ball, we can run the ball, and we can run the quarterback. And Ryan Day, it's so funny how Ryan Day was Mr. Punt on 4th and 1 on the 48-yard line against Michigan last year, and now he's go for it on 4th and 10, go for it on 4th and 1 on midfield with 7 minutes. I mean, he's going for. I love a guy that really embraces the analytics, and Ryan Day deserves all the credit in the world. So for the fire Ryan Day crowd, or let's hire Kurt Signetti, can we put that one to bed too? I hope Ryan Day coaches here for a long, long time. I know the job it's brutal on him in terms of the expectations are so high, the expectations of perfection. But I hope Ryan Day coaches here for the next 30 years and doing a heck of a job this year.
Yeah, I think that he, it's personal because this is a little go down. Kirk Signetti will win the National Coach of the Year, and he'll win the Big Ten Coach of the Year, and India has like this little cutesy thing, but they don't have to live in the blast furnace that you're in when you're when you're Ohio State. Right? I mean, with the pressure and the expectations of being on a team that's a top 2-3 team. Like, I mean, in 06, we were number 1 the entire season until the last game. 07, we were number 1 multiple times throughout the season. So it's like there's a different level of expectation and pressure. And I think Indiana crumbled. Again, they as great as they look against UCLA when nobody's watching, or versus Nebraska when Nebraska's not up for those guys, and they dog walk them, and everyone's like, oh well, they beat Nebraska really bad, and Ohio State struggled versus Nebraska. Well, this is different. I mean, this is something where this was very personal. And again, I can only imagine. I talked to a lot of players, a lot of folks around the program, and they about these comments. I mean, if someone comes out and says Ohio State sucks, and again, that might be cute, it might be funny, but if I'm like, so you're going to disrespect us, and we've ran the Big Ten for 25 years now, and you've never been relevant in your history, and you guys are going to say that we suck, and you're going to talk about Google me and all this other stuff. And again, is he a good coach? Sure. Tired of hearing about his dad. Tired of hearing about his prestige. This isn't James Madison. This isn't Alcorn State. This is real football now. And he had to step up to the plate, and they got smashed. His guys weren't ready to go. Our defense suffocated him. Again, Cody Simon not being on the Buckeyes award list. Jerry Emmett should be fired today. Cody Simon is playing as good as any linebacker in the country, as good as anyone we've had over the last 20 years. I mean, he's playing. I mean, that was an AJ Hawk special right there. I mean, halftime 2 sacks, 8 tackles, leading everything, running everything. He's the key guy on the pressures. I mean, just dominating performance from Cody. I mean, he's the heart of the entire defense. Jack, JT, the pressure packages, as Jim Knowles said, he put a couple mixed blitzes where he'd bring 2 guys in a gap, or not 2 guys in a gap, excuse me, but 2 guys to one side. And Indiana, it was like they'd never seen a blitz before. And again, that's not, I'm not denigrating what Ohio State did, but I kept saying Indiana has never played in a game like this ever. And Ohio State's already played in 2 of them this year, and they play in 2 or 3 of these every year. So eventually the coaching staff gets used to it. The players get used to it. They know how to operate when there's this, this fiery cauldron of pressure that comes with being in top 5 matchups constantly, like we are, because we got to go play in the playoffs, and we got to go play in the Big Ten title game. We got to go play against Michigan when they're your 2 top 5 teams or whatever. So again, it was too big for Indiana. And I kept saying the whole time, I'm like, I know that they're 10-0. and that's cute. But if we traded schedules, that Indiana team would have lost to Oregon. They'd have lost to Penn State. And again, there's not a single guy on their entire roster that we offered a scholarship to. Not one. And some of those guys, like Carter Smith, who's a great kid from Olentangy, like he entered the portal, wanted to come to Ohio State, and we said no. So we turned him down twice. And again, nothing against Carter. But, again, we have substantially, we're better at every position group. We have a better coaching staff, and it all came to bear. And the biggest thing is we're more battle hardened than they are. Again, it's always easy when you're the underdog and you're the cute little story and you get to sneak up on everybody. Ohio State never gets to do that. We're always Goliath. We're always Muhammad Ali in his prime. Like we don't get to sneak up. I mean, we're everybody's Super Bowl. So again, we were Indiana's Super Bowl, and again, the pressure burst the pipes. I'm telling you, it was palpable. Big credit to the crowd. I thought the crowd was fantastic today. It was loud. I thought that they reorganized some stuff inside the stadium, and they were consistently trying to get people jazzed up. And again, when I was really proud of the crowd, because again, when we converted on the 4th and 40, or it was like 3rd and 35 or 3rd and 40, and we hit Carnell, and then we ended up converting it. I mean, the stadium went crazy, and I loved it. I was so happy because that moment and the punt, the punter dropping the snap and giving us the ball on the 2-yard or whatever, the 5-yard line. Those were the two big moments of the game for me. Because I think when Indiana gave up, a 3rd and 40 and we converted on it, they're like, oh God, we're not playing Florida International anymore. We're not playing Tuskegee Tech or, whoever, the Citadel or whoever else they beat to go 10-0. Like, again, it's cute. And, Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt are awful. I mean, I can't stand listening to those guys anymore. And I used to be big fans of both of them, but they're talking all this stuff about, they've got the highest margin of victory and the biggest blowouts and all this stuff. And I'm like, guys, like, I would kill for us to play that schedule. We wouldn't even have to practice. We just roll the helmets out there and smash those guys. And we're going to see Michigan again, that was their big signature one, was beating a Michigan team that's got the worst quarterback play in the nation, the worst throwing game in the nation. That's their big signature one. And Michigan was handling those guys. They just have literally they have no offense, so they can't do anything. So, but now it's time to go on to Michigan, man. And this is going to be, you want to talk about a week, man. I mean, Ryan, I think the Fangs came out today. Again, I'm happy for Ryan. Again, I'm proud of Ryan. I'm glad he scored that last touchdown as like a nice FU to Kirk Barton, because again, you don't need to take that stuff. If you've got your foot on their throat, you can smash them down and just end their lives. And that's what he did today. And guess what's going to happen next week? Times 1,000, times 1,000,000. What Michigan, like the stuff Ryan Day has had to deal with for the last 3 years with the Connor Stallion stuff, stealing the signs illegally, advanced scouting, Jim Harbaugh talking trash. Well, the tab's due next Saturday. So again, I've been excited about Ohio State Michigan games. Obviously, played in them, played in the 1-2 game and stuff. But I don't know if I've been as excited for a group of people and a coach to really lay one on them, because I think that whatever the line isn't going to be enough, because I really think Ryan and these guys are on a mission. And again, shout out to the offensive line. I told you guys, don't lose sleep over losing Seth McLaughlin. Seth's a great player. He's not irreplaceable. Austin Sauerveld, I thought, was fantastic. Carson stepped in and did a really good job. Can we be better? Of course. Does Indiana have a good front? Are they active? Do they move a lot on defense? Yes. But I mean, Austin Sauerveld is going to be an NFL draft pick, in a few years. And he's a big, strong kid, really played well. We still need more out of Tigra. I love Tigra to death, but it's like, God bless, kid. I mean, I need you to take this seriously now, because this team is favored to win the national championship. As of right now, in the sports book, we are favored to win the national title. So we're going to have to go on a little run here. And again, we're going to see Michigan, Oregon. And I'm just telling you, like, this is going to be one of those things where when Kirk said 2 months ago, hey guys, I don't think that this Oregon loss is going to be a bad thing, you guys are going to look back and say, well, man, going into this Ohio State Oregon Big Ten game, like, who do you think has the advantage? I'm like, well, the team that lost the first one, especially when it was on the road by 1 point, gets beat down by the fan base. They want coaches fired. They want Will Howard gone. Will Howard slipped, whatever. Like, we're going to have a huge edge going into that game. because again, our guys are going to want the get back, and it's going to be for a ring this time. Nevada, any thoughts on any of the things I said, and your initial thoughts on Michigan week?
Yeah, I think Michigan's in a lot of trouble. I mean, Michigan's in a lot of trouble. Obviously, shout out to the crowd. We've been on it all the time about challenging the Ohio State crowd just to take over, and the crowd just basically willed the team to victory today. Like Indiana was not going to win in that stadium, but that's the way it should always be. That's the way the crowd should always be. And I know people say, "Well, we save it," and well, they delivered it today, and as good as it was today, we need to take it to another level next week against Michigan. Not that people need to be reminded of that, but obviously there's rent due from them for 3 years of squatting in our house, and we have to take care of business then. But I think the crowd will be in full throat, and that's going to be a fun. But for Ohio State, the loss didn't the loss early in the year really changed. It caused for a fundamental refocusing of the defensive philosophy, and they went to this pressure philosophy. They went away from this, cut down on the explosive plays. Don't blitz as much, stay in a shell. That it's kind of served them well. But since then, I don't think I've ever seen a team change philosophies as dramatically as I've seen them Ohio State do. I mean, before then we were barely blitzing, and now we just blitz we just killed Rourke today, and it was funny watching. He was hobbled back there. He just got the heck beat out of him. We were bringing pressure in a lot of different unique ways, and this was in a game where we got stopped on a 4th and 1. Where I thought Chip called a really poor play there. The front side end was able to kind of bag that up. Teeger got pushed back, and I thought the play calling in the red zone lacked a little bit of imagination. But then they went to the robust tee, and they had Will go back and throw out of that. He had Trey open in the flat. He had Jelani in the back of the end zone. So hey, I'm just so happy. I could not be happier for this group. This group came back for this. We can talk about NIL money and we can talk about everything, but they wanted to settle some scores. And what better way to do it than you've got a trip to the Big Ten championship game on the line. You've got a chance to win the Big Ten title, and you got Michigan in the horseshoe next Saturday when you're sitting as the number 2 team in the country. I mean, it just really doesn't get much better than this. And I'm so excited for the team. I'm so proud of the team. And I really believe this is a team that can take it all the way. Obviously, Las Vegas agrees with me. And to all those people that doubted and bet Indiana and took the points, sorry, guys, pros versus Joes, man. All the public goes, we lost Seth McLaughlin. Well, that's the other thing, too. Can we've lost Jimmy Simmons, Zen Mikulski, Seth McLaughlin. So we've lost 3 starters on the offensive line. And I thought the offensive line played pretty well today. I mean, I don't know statistically where they were at, because there's a lot of running the ball out, running the clock out at the end and stuff like that. But I mean, Carson Hinsman too. Carson Hinsman steps in the center, and I didn't really notice any difference between him and Seth. I'm not saying there wasn't a difference, but I didn't really notice it. And the fact that this was a guy that was buried on the bench, and now he's comes in, starts at left guard, balls out, moves to center, starts at center, balls out. All the credit in the world to Justin Fry too. Justin Fry's a guy that's caught my ire a bunch of times. But man, they're developing some dudes. They've got David Sanders Jr. back in Columbus on a business trip this weekend. Spoiler alert, that's flip watch coming on this one right there, boys. And so the future is really, really bright for Ohio State football, and the present is fantastic. Like I can't remember the last time I've been this excited going into a Michigan week. And this is always an exciting time, but to have a top 5 matchup the week before, it never happened before, and to just blow them out of the building, just a beautiful thing. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, David Sanders Jr. And again, we had a title like 4 days ago or 5 days ago. It was like 5-star flip watch. And guess what? What's attractive to these kids? Winning, development, high NFL draft picks. It's a who's who of the NFL. Like today, I walked into the into the stadium, and I was right next to John Lynch and three other higher ups for the 49ers. Like, I mean, John Lynch is obviously the safety, the Hall of Famer from the Buccaneers, but he's the general manager for the 49ers, and they play the Packers tomorrow. So quick little jaunt over to Columbus on the private jet to check out the boys. And I'm telling you, like, I mean, if I'm some of these guys, if I'm David Sanders and some of these guys, and if I'm Ryan and Justin Frye, I'm saying, yeah, we had every NFL team was here today, and GMs were flying in for this one. And if you want to go to the show, like, this is the place to be. And again, like I said, if you look at our tackle depth chart, I'm not worried about it, because I think George Fitzpatrick's gonna be fantastic next year. But you put him and David and Carter Lowe, and you get Ian. I mean, we've got some guys that are coming along that look good. And again, I watched those guys in warmups, and I watched them move around a little bit and watch them go against each other. And we've got some good looking dudes. So I'm excited about the future of the offensive line. Again, everyone is always worried about everything and stressed out and paranoid and schizophrenic. And I was like, guys, like, we've got good players on our offensive line. And the thing I said more than anything, our scheme is excellent with Chip Kelly. Now, do I agree with the loaded up 4th and 1 where we get stuffed? No, I thought that was a terrible call. I hate when we put 3 tight ends in the game, and I'll break that play down. But, one of those times you got to throw it to JJ. You just have to. I mean there was the guy guarding JJ was like 5'7", it looked like, and JJ looked like like the Eiffel Tower standing out there over a little dwarf, little Frenchman holding a baguette, and I was like, you got to throw it up to him, And again, I don't like the condensed formations, but again, that's nitpicky at this point because we put on stuff. I do love Ryan scoring that last touchdown. That was the greatest thing of all time because, again, most people are taking that knee, but when a guy wants to talk, and again, I would love to know if the microphones caught Ryan and Kirk Sigetti at the end at the handshake, because I mean, it did not look pleasant. It looked tense, and Kirk Sigetti had some words from him. But again, it's all great. I mean, you can talk your trash, but when it's time to smash, then it's over. It kind of is what it is. So I'm just super excited about the team and excited about Michigan Week. Nevada, let's get into some super chats as we are boogieing along. Nevada, C Brown Googled Signetti. Oh, excuse me. Let me get this on the screen. Apologize. Google Signetti. It said he got an OSU beatdown. Do you agree, Nevada? I love that.
Yeah, he definitely got an OSU beat down, and he was definitely, just you're talking about a guy again, very confident guy, very borderline cocky. I would just even say borderline cocky. You're definitely cocky, but there's just a difference. There are levels in college football, and last year's James Madison team, took it off, started really strong, and then kind of fluffered at the end. This year, again, similar type of situation. I think we've got where they come out 10-0, they come to the stadium, and they clearly it was going to take a series of unfortunate events for them to hang in there. And we gave them a couple. The referees gave them a few, but over time, it just the talent gap was so vast, and Will Howard just gave them no chance today. It didn't make any mistakes. It was playing nearly flawless football, and that OSU defense just kind of took it out of them. But hey, it's a good lesson for him. He probably should keep his mouth shut. Don't give bulletin board material to a team like Ohio State because they thrive off stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting as you see these guys going forward, how they're going to they've got such a short window here to do something spectacular. I mean, you've got this 2-week stretch with Michigan into Oregon, and I just think that Michigan is going to be emotional for these guys. They have a shot to go and get a win versus a team that is beaten in the last 3 years and get a pair of gold pants and then on to get a Big Ten championship ring. So they got a lot of jewelry they can be collecting. So it's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited for these guys going forward. Let me get to the next super chat. We've got Show Seal Workshop. Thanks for the deuce. Hope you're doing good. looked like they were using Shof Seal blades. That's a great plug. If you guys need a good Christmas gift, check out Shof's Seal stuff on Facebook. He's got some sweet blades. Nevada, yeah, it did look like they were cutting, especially in the second half. The first half was a little wonky. Obviously, the goal line stop was not great. The penalties from Davison are a huge issue. But the second half was complete domination by Ohio State. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, they definitely. It's fun to watch Ohio State play defense like that. I've always liked I think our team certainly thrives off of going forward and attacking, and I think that certainly plays to our athleticism ability and just the kind of the way that our guys approach the game, and the way that they were bringing the pressures, they were just cutting right through them. And look, Jack and JT have taken a lot of abuse from the fans too, and how good were Jack and JT today? I mean, those two were. It was palpable when they were out, because they would go out and then Indiana would take the ball and run right down the field at 7 yards, 10 yards, 12 yards, and then they put them back in, and all the running would stop all of a sudden. So those are two guys that are going to go on to the NFL. They're going to play. They're going to make hundreds of millions of dollars in the NFL, and we're going to be like, wow, those guys really were good players here at Ohio State, and I thought those two were particularly fired up, really came to play, and really dominated that IU defense after that first drive.
Yeah, I like the scheme. I mean, the way they're scheming those guys to be featured to get home is fantastic. Jason Kane, thank you for the 10. What a great game at Nevada OH.
Yeah,
it was cathartic, I think you could say, for these guys. Indiana's got a lot of run, and at the end of the day, man, when you have better players at every position, you have better coaching staff, you have more experience in big games. I just didn't. Yeah, and plus, not to mention, we've beat them like 30 something straight time, 34, whatever it is. We haven't lost these guys since the 80s. So, it was going to be a Herculean task for those guys to win, especially when they don't have a single guy on their roster that we offered a scholarship to. That's the thing that I just can't get over. And again, that can happen sometimes when Appy State beats Michigan or something crazy like that, but not today. Not with Chip Kelly, not with Jim Knowles, not with Ryan Day, especially not with Will Howard. So I think that it's one of those things where you've got you got a short window here, and this is a 2-week sprint that's going to be. You want to talk about get back? You get Michigan, and then you get Oregon in the Big Ten title game, and you get them in Indy, where our fans are going to travel and make sure that we have the home field advantage. And I think they're going to try to be loud and try to match the odds and intensity. And I'm sure Oregon, they'll travel. They're not going to travel like our folks. Our folks is a 3-hour car ride, so it's going to be super easy to get there. So very, very excited about it. Larry Daniels 1, thank you for the 5. Yeah, Indiana is, thanks for being an Ultra member as well. Indiana is who we thought they were. Hinsman is the dude. Nevada OH. Carson is a revelation, man. He's going to save some jobs just by how he stepped in, played well at center. What a luxury, having a 12-game starter last year. Crazy, really, completely crazy. But I'm just really excited about his future. Again, I think he's been better than Tigra in every game. I think Austin Sourville does some good stuff. I'm going to rewatch it. It's hard. I will say that when I have to go to the game for the first half, it's just tough when it's hard to see all the line play. You can watch a little bit of it, but it's tough. But I think that those guys play well, and I didn't really notice Austin, and that's a compliment. I think people that were all worried about losing Seth, Seth is a very good player, but and don't take this the wrong way. He's not a great player. He's not Will Howard. He's not, again, he's a very good player. Not a first-round pick. Be probably mid to late round guy now. But again, you can replace guys like that. If we lost Will Howard, then I'm at church 24 hours a day praying that we could get Devin Brown to be somewhere near as proficient as Will's been. So we lost Trey Henderson, Quinshawn, Caleb Downs, whole different conversation. Seth, very good player. Wish him all the health, and he's been a great addition to the team. But you kind of know where you're at. It was like when I got hurt in 05, they didn't shut the team down. It wasn't like if Troy Smith got hurt, big difference. And I was the lineman, and with good scheme and with good depth and good coaching, you can kind of cover that up a lot easier than losing, say, a quarterback or losing someone like Ted Ginn Jr. Like, we guys saw what happened when we lost him. So, MT Brian 3, thanks for the 5. Trey Henderson continues to show that he is elite. He's so unselfish, so smart, so great. Defense proving doubters that they are dumb. Beat scum. Nevada OH. All right, Nevada, go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about Trey Henderson and what he's meant to this program and what he's turned into.
Well, as I've been saying for years, and if you guys are aware, you guys have been following Nevadabuck for the past few years, and the Ohio State fans don't like Trey Henderson. They just had turned on Trey Henderson, didn't like him, and I never understood it because this was just a really special kid. As good a football player is, he's a better kid. He's a better kid. He's a better team, and he's the kind of kid that you want to build your team around. Completely unselfish, does all the little things. You've seen him pass block and just kill guys. Obviously, he's got elite breakaway speed, can catch the ball. I mean, he does it all. He does it absolutely all. And then you see on that last play how unselfish he is going down. What was that smart? Should he run through the back of the end zone? Probably. But he's thinking team. That's the right kind of play that you want for a team. Being unselfish. And frankly, I love the fact that he did it because it got Will Howard another touchdown. So I got a question for you. While we're talking about Trey, but I will ask you a question. Do you think that Will Howard is finally going to get into the Heisman? And I'm not talking about winning the Heisman. I'm talking about getting the invite. Do you think he'll finally start getting some attention? Because we have the worst sports information director in the history of Ohio State. Jerry Emig should have been fired long ago. He's incompetent. He's dishonest. He's terrible at his job, and it's really cost us. But I mean, Will Howard is the best player on the best team, the most valuable player, let's put it this way, on the best team. His stats are ridiculous. He's leading the Big Ten in touchdowns. I think he's got, after this week with his QBRs, probably going to be second in all of football. How can that guy not get more run? Can you explain that to me?
No, we're just terrible at promoting our guys. Like again, this isn't a new phenomenon. Like I said, Paris Johnson never won anything. CJ Stroud never won anything. Like we've had incredible players. Ezekiel Elliott never won anything. I mean, we've had Joey Bosa might have won like one thing, but he got beat out by Scooby Wright, who was a 7th round pick. Joey Bosa's 3rd. I mean, this isn't like you have to.
Scooby.
Yeah, what did I say? Did I say something else?
No, I just like saying Scooby. Every time you say Scooby, I like to say Scooby.
Go Google Scooby Wright's NFL career versus Joey Bosa's.
Scooby.
I mean,
Scooby.
But I mean, if Will Howard played at Georgia or Alabama or somewhere where the SEC machine would get behind him and ESPN would get behind him and the sports information director would promote the crap out of him, he'd be the favorite by far right now. If everything was the same, if he had one loss and the same statistics, he'd be the Heisman favorite. But instead, he's like plus 50,000. Like, we're gonna beat Michigan next week, probably gonna hang one on them pretty good, and then we're gonna beat Oregon, and we're gonna be so far behind that he might be the 6th place or 5th place. Like, Caleb Downs should win the Thorpe. If we don't promote him for the Thorpe, it's criminal. Cody Simon should be an All-American. He should be a Butkus finalist. He should win the Butkus. I mean, 8 sacks 2 more sacks today, double-digit tackles. Like, I mean, crazy. And he missed a game. He missed some time, so he doesn't have the gaudiest stats. And plus, he gets pulled out of a lot of those games where we're blowing teams out. But I mean, he's dominating right now, and he's only going to stack up more sacks as we keep rolling because he is one of the featured blitzers for Jim Knowles because he's a 4-4 guy or 4-5 guy. Excuse me. He gets home. Leader of the defense. I mean, he should be a first-team All-American easily. Like I said, I've been on Cody for 4 years now. I mean, people made fun of me because I compared him to AJ Hawk, but did he not look like AJ Hawk today? Blitzing, getting the quarterback on the ground, running the show. It was like AJ. If you put a 47 on him and gave him a mullet, then you have AJ Hawk. But Cody Simon is the leader of the defense. He's just he does everything the right way. He's explosive. He gets the ball. I mean, he should have started last year over Steele. Like, let's be real. And I love Steele Chambers. I love his parents, great people. But Cody's a better player. I mean, Cody's the guy that's going to have a long-term future in the NFL. But yeah, it's sad. Like, I mean, I feel bad. And again, I know it's about the ultimate prize, about winning the national championship. But it feels good to be recognized for what you do. Again, and I was first team All-American. I was All Big Ten twice. So I know what it's like to be left off of award lists. And, like if I wouldn't have, does it change my life if I'm not an All-American? Not really, but it's nice to get recognized for what you do. And every kid that's there wants to get a tree. That's your goal when you're an Ohio State Buckeye, is you want to get a tree. Because again, you can't always control winning it. National championship is far and away number one. Not even close. You want to win the national championship. But sometimes things happen that are outside of your circumstance. And if you're an All-American, at least you did your part. You did all that you could do. You left it all out on the field. And a guy like Cody needs a tree. I mean, Caleb Downs could be, he'll be a two-time All-American. He'll be a first-team All-American unanimously, I think, this year, because he's so incredibly good. And again, I know I got laughed out of the gym by saying that he was the best safety to ever play here, but pretty good. I mean, changed the game today, because when it was still tight and he runs that thing back, and we haven't run one back in 10 years or whatever it's been, and he gets it. And again, he hasn't been doing it that long. We've had a Mecca back there, we've had Brandon Ennis back there, we throw Caleb back there, and he makes something happen, and it was fantastic. It was fun to watch. And again, I think that you get the ball in his hands and it's magical. Now, I don't want him on offense at all, even though he wants it, but you get him back there as a sure-handed punt returner, because like this time of the year, because it was raining in the stadium, it was wet, slippery. I think that you want the most sure-handed, confident guys that you can have back there, and Caleb, there's no one more confident than Caleb, and he's the guy that you bet your life he's going to field the punt and not let it hit the turf and bounce. And there's a lot of hidden yardage when you let a ball hit the turf and it rolls inside the 1 yard line or inside the 2 yard line. Like, teams are really good at downing those balls, and Caleb fields everything. And even if you just fair catch it, that's perfect. But God, what a player he is. And again, it's like, people that don't like NIL, I promise you're crazy, because we've gotten Caleb Downs and Quinshawn. I mean, Will Howard is, it's sad that he only has one shot left in the horseshoe, but God, what a good player he is. I mean, he's Troy. I mean, he reminds me of Troy Smith so much when I watch him, and runs the show, unflappable, protection, fourth and converts a 3rd and 40, gets a big chunk to Carnell, gets like 25 of it, then converts on the next one. I'm just like, how many quarterbacks would be shook out of their cleats in a situation where it's 3rd and 40 and let's just roll over and die and punt the ball? And like, no, let's get a chunk, let's get another chunk. And I was just like, that broke Indiana's spirit. That, followed by their punter dropping the ball. Those to me were the two plays of the game. And if you want to do a throw, and obviously Caleb running it back was huge, but I think when they had him 3rd and 40 and Ohio State came back and converted, it's like having Godzilla laying there dead, and all of a sudden he wakes up and starts breathing fire again and stands up and smashes Tokyo. And that's what they were. Today they were Tokyo and we were Godzilla. Jim Jackson, what's up, brother? I hope you're doing good. Thanks for the 5. Burke, thoughts on Tennessee commitment David Sanders Jr. at the Buckeye game today? Well, I said it earlier today, folks. You got to keep recruiting these guys. I know that everybody likes to roll over and die when someone goes somewhere in July or whatever, but things change. Programs go sideways. Coaches get fired. Coaches leave. Circumstances change. I mean, Tennessee was in vogue. They beat a terrible Oklahoma team, and everybody was in love with them. And they've kind of hit a slump recently. And they're still talented and still a good team. But I mean, Ohio State is S tier, top tier meta right now. So I mean, and you look at our tackle depth chart. You look at how much money you could get here. It's a business decision, man. If you're a 3-and-out guy like Paris Johnson, and again, I said a million times, like, if this kid's role model is Paris Johnson, and Monica is tight with the parents there, like, they had the perfect career for Ohio State. 3-and-out. Paris graduated, top 6 pick in the draft, signed for $35 million. He'll be a Pro Bowler soon. His second contract will be $35-40 million a year, left tackle for the Arizona Cardinals. Like, that's what you want. Why don't you emulate it? You have the same strength coach, same O-line coach, same head coach. Like, Columbus is a great city, easy to get to. You're going to have probably $1 million or $1.5 million in NIL money, and the depth chart's wide open for you try to go to the spot. I mean, I love George Fitzpatrick. I think he's got a lot of talent, and I think he's the next man up if someone else gets hurt. Knock on wood. But you put him and David, and you get Carter Lowe in here, and Ian Moore. I mean, there's going to be a real competitive depth chart next year, and let's go see what you got, big dog. But I just, I think that these kids are starting to figure out that if you really want to make serious money playing football, you should go to Ohio State. If you're a quarterback, if you're a running back, if you're a receiver, if you're a lineman, D lineman. I mean, we have every position in the NFL signing record-breaking contracts. And the only one that hasn't yet is CJ Stroud. When CJ signs his, it'll be the highest paid player in the NFL. So, this is the place to be. Tennessee is not it. So, I'm excited. Nevada, again, Jim, thanks for the 5 free sheets, my man. So, thoughts on David Sanders Jr. at the Ohio State game today? What are your thoughts, Nevada?
I think he's a Buckeye. But, I thought we were fine before David Sanders Jr. I think we'll be fine whether we get David Sanders Jr. or not. And I sincerely believe that. But I believe he's going to be a Buckeye. I believe this is a business trip. I believe he's here to get it done. And I think he'll be part of the class.
Well, I mean, is there any other good news you got? Like, is Bitcoin going to come down to $5 again so we can rebuy it or something? Or can we rebet on the one UFC fight today?
No, I think that ship has sailed, man. That ship has sailed. You can cash your ticket on Kong Joker Wong though at -900,
minus 1,300. Nevada and I, this sounds crazy. We were watching UFC fights at 5 a.m. today, and I called him, and he, of course, Nevada, because he's Mr. Magoo, was like watching the wrong stream, and it was the wrong time, and it was.
I was watching the pre-show.
He's watching the UFC countdown episode while there's 5 fights that already finished.
So bad. So bad.
It was like when I called him after we bet on Jake Paul versus Tyson, and I was like, "Hey, that was easy money." And you're like, "Did the fight start?" I was like, "Oh my god!" You're like,
"Well, yeah, because that's stupid. That stupid buffering with Netflix, man. It buffered back in the beginning. I didn't catch that stupid Netflix."
Mr. Magoo, my man.
Scooby
Kevin McQuaid, thanks for the 5. Shout out to the Scoop World Order and my bro Carlugi. Who is the dumbest? Oh, here we go. Nevada, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Get your notebook out with your pen and paper. Who is the dumbest? The Ohio State University fan, the Fire Day fan, or the Howard Sucks fan? Well, hang on, I'm going to add a little bit. Or the Fire Jim Knowles fan. The Fire Howard, the Chip Kelly is overrated. Is officially the game week. Go Bucks beat Michigan. I mean, we had these like flaming hot, dumb takes. I swear to God, like we deal with this on our message board, and I'm like, guys, like, you guys really think Trey Henderson isn't good? I talk to NFL people; they think he's a first round pick. Now he might not go in the first round because he's a running back, but like, he's a total difference maker. And people, Trey Henderson, we start Mayan. Trey has no vision. Trey's soft. Jim Knowles, gimmicky defense. See, I love Jim Knowles because, like, Jim Knowles, when he finds something like the left side of Indiana's offensive line, he's like, it's like seeing a crack in the dam, and he's like, I'm gonna shoot every one of my nuclear bombs at that crack. I'm gonna send Cody Simon. I'm gonna send Jack Sawyer. I'm gonna run this twist, and they can't pick it up. And I think Jim Knowles is excellent. And the crazy thing is, and again, something that people don't understand is, like, as he gets a feel for what teams are doing, he gets better and better and more accurate at guessing what to call. Like, when he's really going for it and he's trying to hit the jackpot, like he nails guys. Like when he's got a feel for what they like to do in the running game. I mean, I was like, oh my God, it was like he was listening to their plays and then like selecting the blitz based off of what he'd already known. So when he gets in the zone, man, it's terrifying. And I love watching it because, again, the players believe in it. They're in good space. Again, outside of Davison, just, I mean, he gets hugged more than like a fraternity bro when those guys have been drinking Busch Lights all day. And I'm just like, dude, like, you got to keep your hands in, man. You can't keep getting these PIs because they're going to kill us if we play a good team. But I don't know. I mean, Nevada, which one's the dumbest? Fire Day, Howard sucks. Trey Henderson sucks. Jim Knowles sucks. There's a lot of dumb. And again, Nevada, we come flying in there and we're like the Batman and Robin of killing bad takes. That's what we do basically every day. But what are your thoughts, Nevada?
Well, those are all the same person. Every one of those takes is the same person. But no, it's fun. I always say on the message board, if you can have an opinion, but it just it can't be something stupid. It can't be fire Jim Knowles or fire Ryan Day or Will Howard isn't OSU caliber or Chip Kelly is a fraud. I mean, that's the kind of stuff where like you can have an opinion about, hey, I thought the play call in this thing was a bad one. Hey, have at it. What's up with our defense giving up a touchdown on these opening drives? Completely legitimate. I mean, these are all things that are legitimate takes, but some of this stuff, man, uh, it was kind of crazy. But hey, now I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy for this group. You think back where we were after we lost that game against Oregon. Long season ahead of us. Lots of a road trip to Penn State. Then we had this game against Indiana, and frankly, I wasn't anxious about the game, but I thought it was going to be a good game. I thought it would be a better game. I predicted 27-10, and I thought it would be a semi-comfortable, uncomfortable game. And obviously, I was pretty close, but I think the defense was a little bit better. The offense, obviously, I thought we could have really named the score on them. We didn't have we had the punt return touchdown and the punt fumble, but we also got stopped, twice deep in the red zone, and that doesn't happen very typically. So no, this was just a perfect capper to a season. The only thing that makes me sad is that the season's going to be over, and I legitimately love this team. I really, really do. They're a lot of fun to watch. They're easy to root for. They're great kids, and it's a group. As an Ohio State fan, you should be really proud that we've got a group of kids like this representing us, because they're certainly worthy of your fanship and worthy of your praise.
Yeah, I agree. Like it is sad that we're getting to the end of Will Howard's career, and it seems like it just started. But I love like it was a weird game because we got stopped on the 1 foot line and goal line, and then Jelani had the dropped it, turned it into an interception. We ran a punt back, their punter dropped. I mean, there are a lot of weird things. When you look at our efficiency in the red zone, like you'd think that we'd cash those two in, or at least get a field goal on the one where Jelani dropped it. But it didn't end up mattering. But it could have been much, much worse. And again, like we haven't been some dynamic punt returning team, but they gave one up because again, they played in a matchup game and the lights were too bright for them. Like again, it was palpable that. I mean, they weren't scared, but I mean, dude, like they hadn't seen an environment like this and Ohio State, and I don't know. Like I said, they can beat up on FAU, and it's a lot easier for him to talk trash at James, because like James Madison's a good 1AA team. I know they're in 1A now, but you're playing small schools, so it's easy to talk trash and do that. But when you got to come see the big dog might bite your head off. And we did today. Deion Jackson, thanks for the 10. Thanks for being an ultra member as well. Hope you're good, my friend. It's officially Muck Fishigan week. I love that phrase. That is great, my dude. Do you think Day runs up the score on them for cheating the last 4 years? Nevada, I'll let you go first on this one. Oh my God. And again, yeah, that's an awesome question, because you want to talk about giving us a layup. That's like a layup where you like lift us up in the air like we're little kids and like drop the ball in the cylinder. That's the easiest layup question we've ever had. And it's a great question. I'll let you go first, Nevada.
Well, sometimes people say that, it's the old, I went for 2 because I couldn't go for 3. But you're like, nah, would he really, really do that? Well, you saw Ryan Day today push one in with 30 seconds to go against Indiana to send a little message to Cincinnati. Ryan's a gangster. And these last 3 years of Michigan being involved in the largest cheating scandal in the history of college football, rent is due. And payment comes next Saturday in the Horseshoe, and he will not call off the dogs. They will not. They will run it up. He ran it up today, and if he'll run it up against Cincinnati, he'll run it. He'll onside. He would have scored and then onside kicked against Michigan with 30 seconds to go. That would have been the only thing that would have been even better. And I would have stood and applauded that. I think that would have been that. What would be better than that if you come back to at 20 seconds to go and you onside kick up 38-13.
I mean, because here's the thing. when you're Ryan, you got to look at like holistically what is. And again, this is going to be really pontification from Kirk here, but how do you get the fan base, the donors, NIL donors? How do you get them the most excited? Run it up on Michigan, onside kick, like pour just pour when they're in the ocean drowning, shove the hose down their throat. Like that's I mean, again, I remember it vividly. I talked to some of the biggest owners associated with Ohio State. What's your favorite memory of Urban Meyer? Him scoring that last touchdown versus Oregon. Could have took a knee. Could have kept it classy. And Urban said, "F it. We got Zeke. We're handing him the rock. He's gonna fall into the end zone and get us another 7 on the board and make that scoreboard just explode with bright lights and turn on every single light bulb, light the whole thing up." And whew, man, I would not want to be Sean Moore. I mean, I don't think Sean Moore's a good coach anyways, and now he's got to come see this team, and he's got to gimp in here with no quarterback. And you want to talk about blitzing and pressure. I mean, can you imagine what Jim Knowles is going to unleash this next week when he knows that Michigan literally cannot throw the football? Oh my God. I mean, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I'm so happy for these kids. It's going to be great. Eric Peterson, thank you for the 5. I hope you're doing great. Any word on Josh and Seth's intentions? Do they rehab and go pro, or do they medical redshirt and come back? Well, Seth is out of eligibility, so he's 100% gone. Josh, I'm hearing, is going to declare for the draft. He's got to rehab his patellar tendon, but I think it's a real long shot for him to come back, which again, it's fine because we end up. Here's the thing: when one door shuts, another one opens. Because I think Josh Simmons balling out the way, because you got to understand, like Josh Simmons came here last year and San Diego State and didn't have a big offer list, even though it was weird because his one offer list had like Georgia and SEC schools, and I was like, well, that's a pretty good offer list, but again, are they real offers? Who knows? But that's one of Justin Fry's best development stories. Is like he took Josh Simmons, who was a starter at San Diego State and had 17 false starts his freshman year or whatever, and I mean, Justin Fry turned him into a first-round pick. Like, if Josh doesn't get hurt, he's probably the Big Ten lineman of the year and first-team All-American. I mean, he was a mid-season All-American, but you can't help when your patellar tendon gets blown up and you got to get surgery and rehab. But if I'm David Sanders, I'm like, dude, do what you did for Josh Simmons is what I want you to do for me. Turn me into a first-round pick, because I mean, David Sanders is kind of the same guy as Josh Simmons, super athletic, freaky guy, will run fast, and you just gotta do the program and do a little bit more, and you'll be fine. I mean, look at JJ and look at. I think Josh Fryer has a chance to get drafted. Donnie obviously will get drafted. Donnie, I don't think is an NFL tackle, but he'll definitely be a guard. Could be a center. Like I talk to NFL people who think he's going to be a center. So again, but he's got utility. The thing about Donnie, he'll play forever in the NFL because he can play all 5 spots, which most people can't do that. So Donnie can play left, right, play tackle, guard, center. It's like being an NBA player that's like Magic Johnson or LeBron, who can play anywhere from center to point guard. Like it's like that type of utility, and it adds a lot of value to what you can do on the field. So yeah, I appreciate you, Eric. Thank you. Sean Rollins, what is up, brother? Thank you for the 20, and thank you for being a great moderator. As always, we wore those whack players out. Again, like I know that they got a lot of cute stories. They brought in a bunch of guys from James Madison, and they're great, but that's not, we didn't want any of those guys. We didn't offer any of those guys, and we don't want any of their portal guys because they're not our level of guy. So eventually, when you have a whole roster full of better players, like the talent comes home to roost, unless you're just coached in a terrible manner, which we're not. Again, this is the best coaching staff in Ohio State history, in my opinion. Outside of our tight ends coach, who isn't great, the rest of it's pretty good. So I love Chip Kelly. I love Jim Knowles. I think Ryan is really learning on the job, doing a great job. And like I said, you can see you give that type of coaching to that type of talent, and you see the results coming home to roost right now. Nevada, your thoughts? Again, Sean, I appreciate you. He said we wore those whack players out. I agree. 'Cause like I said, I just, I know everyone's scared of everything, but I was like, guys, like Indiana, like they just don't have a guy that we offer a scholarship to. Like we're bigger, faster, stronger, and it all came to fruition. Not to mention more battle hardened. I mean, that's something nobody talks about. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, talent doesn't matter until it matters, and today we are just more talented at every position. And these are games that Ryan Day has traditionally done really well in. When he's got more talent than the opposition, he has been almost perfect. So I think for him, he had a good handle on what he wanted to do. I've loved the transformation of Ryan Day, watching him become more of a CEO. I think the best thing that ever happened to Ryan Day was giving up play calling and having Chip Kelly come to Ohio State, because I think it's enabled him to take a next step as a head coach. And I really think he's getting ready to go on a dynastic run and become like the guy in college football. Because he's 45 years old, so he could be here for a long time, and and he could be really really good for a long time. So I hope he sticks around.
Yeah, and the other thing is when you look at his coordinators, I'm glad Jim Knowles isn't 35 or 40 or 45. He's a little bit older. Like he's had some head coaching opportunities, interviewed for the Duke job as a head coach at Cornell. But if he was 35, 40 and some young whiz kid, I'd be worried about losing him after this year. I don't know how you wouldn't be. And Chip Kelly's kind of done the head coaching thing, and he's good with the relationship with Ryan at being the kind of the second in command as the offensive coordinator. So I like being able to keep as much of the staff in place as possible. Now, there's always going to be transition when you have a winning organization, so we'll lose coaches to position coaches to become coordinators, whatever, and it will replenish. But I like the fact that I think the best thing that ever happened to Ryan is that Bill O'Brien took the BC job, and all of a sudden he gets to bring in Chip Kelly, who he trusts more than any person on this earth in the football world, to run the offense. And again, Chip's offense it's just so fun to watch. Now, do I agree with everything? No, I don't like some of the goal line stuff, but other than that, like he was moving the pocket around, a lot of play action pass stuff that's really easy for Austin Seyerveld in the O line. Some misdirection. Ran a reverse or a jet sweep with JJ. I can't remember which one it was, but he does a lot of stuff that's super easy. It's not hard on the O line. And it's productive, because when you've got better players, like all you have to do is just get the ball in their hands and let them do their thing. Like it doesn't have to be neurosurgery. MT3 Brian, thanks for the 10. Appreciate you, my friend. Do you guys think Will Howard is going to finally get his deserved respect? He has been outstanding all season. He deserves to be in New York. Beat scum. I mean, I don't know what else he has to do. I mean, obviously, beat Michigan, beat Oregon, but I look at those Heisman odds and I'm just like, Travis Hunter's losing to Kansas right now. No one's watched Ashton Genty play all year, but he's got big numbers. Then there's Will Howard, who's beating top 5 teams, and he's going to be on the Big Ten champion team that's going to avenge the Oregon loss and be the number 1 seed in the playoffs. So I don't know what else you have to do. Like I said, if he played at Georgia right now, and if everything was the same and we were the Georgia Bulldogs, he'd be the Heisman favorite. But we don't promote the kid. So again, another huge game today. And it was rainy, it was cold, and he's still like 22 for 24, ran for a touchdown. Again, I don't think that it hurts, Ryan rushing him at the very end to get one more rushing touchdown on the board on the stat sheet as you're trying to push for the Heisman. But Will's going to be one of the most underrated players to ever leave here, because he's a special dude, the clear leader of the team. Worked a lot with Carson this week. It was almost seamless, which is incredible. You lose an All-American center in Seth McLaughlin, and Carson comes in and nobody really notices. Like that's Chip Kelly, it's Justin Fry. A lot of it's Will Howard, making sure that they're on the same page. A lot of it's Carson too. I mean, you got to give Carson credit, because that kid's gone through some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen in my life when it comes to football and benching or whatever. So just happy for the kid. Like again, he's taking advantage of his opportunity, and it's fantastic. Nevada MT Brian, again, thanks for the 10. He says, you guys think that Will Howard is going to get his deserved respect? He has been outstanding all season. He deserves to be in New York. What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, he absolutely does. I mean, go back and look at Stetson Bennett when he got his invitation to New York, got the thing, and I mean, Will Howard is just better. I mean, in every category, Will Howard's better. I think this was his fifth or sixth game of over 80% completion. I mean, he's just been so good and so efficient. Not even counting any of the small, intangible stuff or the running and the leadership and the other stuff, the stability. But just his play has just been so good, and I think it's really a shame. But I think the person who cares the least about it is probably Will. I'm certain that we care more about it than he does because he just wants to win, and the team kind of feeds off that. You can see how unselfish that group is. They're all about team achievements and stuff like that. But he does. I think he should be there because he deserves to be there. And I think it's just a crime that we have a sports information director, Jerry Amick, who's so incompetent. And I think it's really a shame. A great institution like Ohio State deserves better than that bum.
Yeah, and so does Will Howard, and so does Ryan Day, and so does the program. Because again, like even the thing about like the Heisman is like when I was a lineman and I knew Troy was going to win it, like even though I didn't win it, I felt a certain type of way that I helped Troy win the Heisman. Like I blocked for Troy, and it's something that kind of validates your efforts when because obviously Troy was one of the biggest margins of all time, but you feel really good when your homie wins the trophy. And again, like, well, I don't know what else he has to do because again, he does everything the right way, and that's the thing that I stress to people is like I mean, again, great throws today, moving around in the pocket, not scared to run it. We ran him in the red zone, kind of did the Tebow thing. And then we punched in at the very end for that last touchdown, but I don't know. I think the world of the kid. Pooh Bear 12, thank you for the 10. I hope you're doing good, my friend, and thank you for being an Ultra member as well. Nevada, CEO Day is a much better head coach. Love his new feel for the team/game. The Howard is an OSU quality fans are pretty quiet. 3, not sure how to handle good special teams play. Was Parker Fleming worse than we thought? Well, I think that CEO Day is much better because he got Chip Kelly. I think Chip Kelly was a huge ad, and when you hire basically your mentor, the guy that taught you offense, that taught you how to coach quarterback, to be the guy, like you don't have to worry about that side. It would be like if I hired my high school football coach to be my defensive coordinator, like I would never worry about the defense ever because he was such a masterful defensive guy. And that's kind of what it is. So Ryan can really, worry about doing everything else, and he can go sit with Jim Knowles after the Oregon game and figure out a pressure package and implement it and fix stuff. And you see everything kind of coming together, and good for Ryan, because again, it wasn't easy to fire Corey Dennis, and that's Urban's son-in-law, and he had to fire him, to make room for Chip. And when you've got the big sombrero on, you got to make some unpopular decisions sometimes. And he did it. And, like Chip, I mean, honestly, like if I'm running the show, anything I got to do to get, if someone told me I had to fire everybody on my staff to get Chip Kelly, I'd do it. Because that's how good Chip Kelly is. I don't care. Like he's that good. The Howard is an OC. Like, again, we had Derek Young from the Kansas State site say that, and again, I don't know him at all, but like, we had people say, well, he said that Will Howard was going to get benched and was going to get beat out by Avery Young or whoever the kid is at Kansas. And I'm like, okay, so, and again, I don't know Will Howard. I don't have stock in Will Howard. I'm not his agent. I don't care. But Ryan Day was risking his, the most talented team of all time on the arm and the mind of Will Howard. And he did it. And we wrote that kid a big check. And I was like, if in doubt, I trust Ryan Day's quarterback evaluation, character evaluation, the whole thing. And Ryan went all in. He pushed Kyle McCord out the door, revamped his because the one thing about Ryan is he's not scared. If he has to go upset the apple cart, and if the quarterback play is not to his liking, he'll clean that whole room out and go get a guy in the portal or two, or go get a new recruit or whatever. And I'm fine with that. I mean, it's big boy football, and you can't do anything without a quarterback in this league. And the good special teams play, again, that's going to the Trussell method, where you have position coaches, Brian Hartline's helping coach the punt returners, and you give each position coach an area to focus on. Give someone the punt team, someone the kickoff team, kickoff return. and let them own it. So they have their position group, and then they also have a special teams, and it was excellent today. It was a game breaker, obviously, with the punt stuff. We've blocked the punt. Our special teams have been a difference maker, and it's been fantastic to see. Nevada Poohbeard, he says, again, thank you again, my man, for the 10. CEO Ryan Day is much better of a head coach. Love his new feel for the game. 2, the Will Howard is an OSU quality quarterback. That crowd is pretty quiet. 3, not sure how to handle good special teams play. What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, no, all those items are related. CEO Day, made himself. You hire great people around you, and it makes you look good. And he had the guts to do it, to step away from the play calling, to go out there, get Bill O'Brien, get Chip Kelly, fire Corey Dennis, fire Parker Fleming, reassign the special teams. Special teams are back to being special again, making a big play just about every week, which is kind of crazy. As for the Will Howard stuff, yeah, what's a shame is that a large segment of the fan base really bought into that, and I feel like they really missed out on a great season by the young man, and I hope they're there now because his numbers are jaw droppingly good. But yeah, no, Will's great. I love seeing him interviewed after the game too, always saying the right things. Even though you could tell he was a little spicy there at the end, he was doing the putting the cigarette out on underneath your foot on the sideline thing after that last touchdown and stuff. So this game was special to these guys, man. They wanted it. Indiana kind of put a target on themselves, and I think that was a big mistake waking up Ohio. Not that they wouldn't have been up for a top 5 matchup, but giving somebody extra motivation, I think, is always dumb, and they gave it to them.
Is putting the cigarette out because of Sing Yeti?
Scooby Senior Scooby.
But like, I mean, is that seriously it? Like he's a cigarette, Sig Yeti. So let's put the cigarette out. Because I was sitting there, and I was just like, maybe I'm
you were
just
trying to figure it
now that
out.
I'm 40. I was just like, I know our resident hipster Nevadabuck, the buffering Netflix Jake Paul machine will know exactly what's going on. Your Captain Time Machine will know.
Yeah.
But I would assume that's it. Unless he's putting out, a cigar or something worse. I don't know.
Yep.
But I didn't know.
I think you're right. I think you're 40, but you're still cool, Kirk. I want you're still cool.
I'm gonna watch my VH1. I love the '80s. I can't wait. But I do.
Scooby.
Schaefer Healthcare. Thank you for the 20. So many ways we can win, and special teams have been money and were a weakness for a long time. We need to be aware of scum next week because they have nothing to play for and may try to injure our guys. Nevada OH. Yeah, I mean, that would be unfortunate. I don't know if they'd go that far. I mean, hell, we had the Northwestern guy try to break JJ's ankle, which was terrible, but and nothing really came of that. So again, you're always on the lookout for that. But I think that these guys are going to be on edge, and I think they can. I mean, it's one thing to play Michigan, but it's another thing when you're way better than Michigan to play them, and you get the chance to put one on them big time. Like, I think that that's going to be very, very exciting for these guys. David K, thank you for the 5. So glad they stuck it in the end zone. Just on the end for that men hair coloring MFer. I was glad too, because again, he was talking tough, man. I mean, nobody loved doing more national media interviews than Kirk Barton this week, and he was, the cock of the walk in Indiana football, and I got my big extension, and again, God bless him, great, good for you. But like, at some point, you might not want to poke the bear when the bear is way bigger than you, way faster than you. It's kind of like the people that climb into the tiger cage at the zoo or whatever. They climb in there and they're like, well, I'm Indiana. I'm a human being. And then the tiger's sitting there and he hasn't eaten all day. And he's like, man, this guy's dumb. This guy's about to be my lunch. Like, that's what it was like. And Ohio State was going to Tiger today. Great. Cordero Jackson, thank you for the 5. Chip be in Day's ear. Like, stop being a P word and go for it. 4th and long. Last year, Day would punt it. Nevada, what are your thoughts? Do you think Chip has influenced Ryan going for it more, or is Ryan just saying, screw it? Because, again, you could be real ballsy about going for it when your defense is number 1 in the nation. Because, I mean, our defense shuts everybody down, so you can always go for it. But what are your thoughts?
Well, I think they had a stat that Ryan has gone for it more on fourth down this year than he has in his entire career combined, or something like that. So it certainly was the analytics impact, certainly, and Chip's the big analytics guy. I've been Mr. Use all four plays for a long time. I was on the Pulaski coach train where the guy onside kicks every time, goes for two every time, and never punts. So I'm a big believer that that's probably closer to the right way to play football than punting 4th and 1 from the 48. But yeah, Ryan's changed a lot, and I think Chip deserves a heck of a lot of the credit for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really good. Schmitty, what's up, my man? Christian Bauer, Woody Hayes, Athletic Center legend. What's up, brother? Long time, boys. How about it? Sunny South today. Best performance by far. Yes,
Yes,
Sunny
yes,
was
yes.
showing up big time today, man. He was looking good. Your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, he was good. I mean, he was good. Starting to sniff that stuff out, sniff out the screens, the swing pass out there on that fourth. I mean, he's starting to play some ball. And we were talking about earlier in the year, when would his play, catch up to his athleticism? Well, we're starting to see it right now. And yeah, it's a treat. I mean, he's starting. He's going to be really, really good. His ascendancy is kind of mirroring the kind of move to dominance for the OSU defense, and I don't think that's a coincidence. I think those two things are inextricably linked for sure. He's no Scooby Wright, but he's a good football player.
Inextricably
Scooby,
Scooby.
Scooby.
Studley Budley, thanks for the 20. Appreciate you, my friend. Great win. Managing our NIL showed this late season with our depth and playmakers. As I mentioned last week, Tigre Warriors being against the Michigan front, but also tackling could and needs to be cleaner. Yeah, I mean, our guys are gonna have to block number 55. He's their best guy, but yeah, when you know that there's one guy who's better than everybody else, then you should be able to beat him, double team him, wear him out. But I like the direction of this team. Again, just run on the edge. Attack the edge with the perimeter runs, and I think that you've got a much better shot because don't run right at the teeth of the defense. You don't have to do that. But Nevada, what are your thoughts? I mean, are you worried at all about Michigan's front? And do you think the tackling needs to be any cleaner?
Yeah, look, you can always clean stuff up. That's the good news about a game like today is we didn't play a perfect game. We didn't even play a great. I thought we played a B plus game, but I didn't. It wasn't an A game. So we've got a lot more in the tank. But beating a top five opponent by 3 touchdowns with a B plus effort shows how good the team can be. But no, I totally agree. I thought they handled them pretty well last year. I think so. They know what to expect about them. Certainly Carson does, and from a tackling standpoint, yeah, just got to clean some stuff up. But defense stepped up when he needed them to. But there is definitely another level and clean up some of the little stuff.
Trestle Spectacles, thank you for the 5. I was super disappointed in the first quarter when they're on the 1.5 yard line and they try to get cute instead of running a QB sneak. Nevada OH.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like when we get all condensed and we get, jacked backwards. But, again, that's something that we're trying to do. I don't understand it. I'd rather spread them out and run read option, and I think it works all the time. But, again, it is what it is. Nevada, what were your thoughts on that play when we got stuffed on the half-yard line?
well, it was a slow developing play, and if you see the play, we'll probably break the play down at some point this week. The guy that makes the tackle is the front side end. He comes on unblocked, comes down there. So there's nothing to do with push and this and that. It's just you leave it. If you're slow developing, handing off a play like that, you don't block the defensive ends. They come flat down the line, and I hated the play call. I thought it was terrible, but hey, if Chip called a perfect game, then there wouldn't be room for improvement. But I thought he was really, really good most of the game, but I thought that particular sequence was not awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was tough. I mean, Patrick Hurd 49 was the guy at the front side, and it just wasn't it was kind of a loser block, because he's got a guy charging upfield and he's, in the T formation, and he's got to go block him, and you're going to get splattered when you've got a defensive end who's bigger than you running into the backfield untouched, and you got to try to knock him back. But it's like, I mean, that's one of those ones where it looks really good on the grease board, but it doesn't really, in practicality, it's not great. But yeah, I'm digging for it right now because I just want to break it down now so we can get it done. So I think it was literally right in front of me, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe we did that. But we we'll save the fourth down stuff for tomorrow. But here's the play. Again, I don't like the condensed stuff. I really don't. When it comes to, this is just like old fashioned smash your head against the wall offense, which I think, it's like in an era of drones and tactical strikes. This would be like Civil War cannon warfare, basically, versus like drone strikes and sending in an airstrike or whatever. Like, I mean, they're both war, but I mean, this is so dated that I hate it, because you just have this big mash of people. You have 1 foot splits, and you're just trying to say we're tougher. But if one guy isn't great, and Tigra's terrible here. Tigra's high, he gets pushed into the backfield. We've got a kid who's never really played fullback. We try to moonlight him as a fullback in Gerd coming off the edge here. And again, they're gap exchanging this where they're doing this they're doing this to stop the read option. So they're doing what they call a gap exchange, where he's actually going to slice in off the edge and have that edge, and then he's got to loop behind him. So this is actually a scheme this is a really good scheme to use against read option to confuse the read. So if this was read option, he would be taking the back. This guy would be taking the back. Imagine that if he's holding and Will's reading this, and then this guy would be folding over to take the quarterback. So again, if Will was reading him and he saw this crash, he would give it, and then he would run out here, and then this end would be right here. So they have this called for the read option, and again, there's just too many guys. Which again, this is why I don't like this condensed stuff, because if you have 1 or 2 guys miss a block, and Josh Ryers, he's okay. Tigra's not good. Austin Seibel comes off the rock. I mean, he's good, but this is mostly just straight man blocking, and we get stuffed because they've got too many guys. Like, again, this gap exchange is a tough look. Our tight end ends up not blocking. He's blocking him, but when they run this fold game, he doesn't block anybody. So that's your extra guy in the hole. And Six, who's their best player on defense, he's the guy that ends up making the play because they run this little gap exchange. So again, it's a good scheme by them, but to me, if you say, Kirk, well, what would you do different? Well, I wouldn't have 1, 2, 3, 4. I wouldn't have 4 tight ends in the game. I'd put number 4 down here. I'd put number 2 out here. I'd probably put, you put 17. I put 11. I put Ennis out there as a slot. Spread these guys out, because then they gotta go cover these guys, and you don't have this big messy box. And if you want to run read option, it's gonna be a lot cleaner of a picture. Because the problem is like when you have that many people in the box, the picture's just ugly. Like you don't know. When it's kind of like, when we played Michigan in 2006, Michigan was a big blitz team, but they loved to disguise the blitz. So you didn't know where the blitzes were coming. So the only way you can really make them declare and not be able to disguise stuff is you have to spread them out. Because if you spread them out and you spread the field, then they have to show where they're coming from. They can't hold it forever. If they ever want to get there, they got to show where they're coming from. But when you've got everything condensed into this big, tight blob, then you have no idea what anyone's still on, because they've got 11 guys in the box. So, you have no idea who could be blitzing. There's no real tells. So it's hard. If you're just better than they are, then you can just bulldoze them over. But, when they've got a good scheme there, I think our guys, they were okay. But with that scheme, it's tough. And again, Indiana's good. This is good. For a read option, that's about as good as you could ever call, because it confuses our tight end and doesn't block anybody. So you got 2 guys at the point. So, yeah, I hated the call, but give Indiana credit. That was a good defense for it. Jason Lewis, thank you for the 5. This team has faced road games, top 5 teams, injuries, weather. It has built a callous necessary to win championships. I agree. I talk about that all the time, and That's why I said losing to Oregon might be the best thing that ever happens to these guys, because it takes all the pressure off. Because now, once you lose one, then you're not going to be, well, is this the greatest Ohio State team ever? Is this the greatest team ever? Is this the number one team? All that's gone, which is good, because it doesn't matter if you lose one game, but you win the national championship. Who cares? You know, you lose one game to Oregon. It's like, they got beat down by the fans a little bit, so they could close ranks. Again, I like a loss because you kind of get to call the herd and see who's really with you and who's not. And I think that these kids took note of it, and now they're they're rising back up, and the bandwagons filling all the way back up again. But the smart people, like the Buckeye Scoop folks, like you guys never leave, because we tell you not to leave. If we thought the ship was sinking, if it was the Titanic, and I said, hey, should we stay on the boat or get on the lifeboat? I'd say, well, if it's the Titanic, get on the lifeboat. Don't stay on here and die. But that's not what we are. Like this team, like we said, this is still the most talented team in the country, even without Josh Simmons, even without Seth McLaughlin. Still the most talented team in the country, and with the best coaching staff. So I don't know. Like, again, people called me Nevada Sunshine Pumpers. I'm like, well, Las Vegas, who only cares about money and are razor sharp with the lines, they have us installed as the favorite to win the national championship. So I don't know what you guys want. We're not trying to sell you guys on Purdue, but it is what it is. Nevada. Jason Lewis, again, this is a great point. Thank you for the 5. He says this team has faced road games, top 5 teams, injury weather. It has built a callus necessary to win championships. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I mean, this has been, you talk about a schedule, three top 5 matchups in 6 games. Hopefully we can put the top 5, can't beat top 5 teams narrative to bed too. Can't stop top 5. We put that one to bed. We're just killing narratives left and right. But yeah, this is a resilient team that has been through a lot of adversity. They're going to be battle tested come college football playoff time. They're going to be a tough out. For somebody to beat them, it's going to take either a mighty effort or a series of unfortunate events, because this is a really good Ohio State team.
Gimmicky 3 safety defense.
Gimmicky nickel defense. Gimmicky.
We run the nickel. We run Jordan Hancock at the nickel, which is gimmicky because every team in the NFL runs nickel 85% of the time now. Gimmicky.
Oh.
That was a classic. District Fire, thank you for the 10. If you have a question, toss it in the chat. I appreciate you, my friend. A Triple S podcast, thank you for the 7. Hope you're good, my friend. I called Caleb Downs for his first interception today. I'll take a PRTD though. Yeah, good job, man. I mean, I'm telling you, Caleb is different. He's a difference maker now. Go Bucks! How about that crowd? Those linebacker safeties, Mecca. Shout out to Pebble Buck, Nevada OH. Crowd was lit. I was proud. And I don't act like I'm some old man, but it's like the crowd was on fire. The crowd was in it, and it was fun to watch, because I'm just telling you, like I've seen our crowd not be loud, but they were in it. They were loud, and it affected those guys. And that's something that's important. I'm gonna show one more little also play, and the linebackers are great. The safeties I thought were great. I gotta show you my boy Tyreek. I love Tyreek so much. Oh my god, I thought Tyreek was really good, and I haven't been able to dig into all this, but this is like when people ask me about Tyreek, and he's a little bit offsides. He might be offsides here, but it's either that or he has an incredible jump. You guys can tell me, but here's Tyreek. Watch what he does to this left guard. And again, this is the difference between a first round pick and a non-round pick. Watch Tyreek here. I mean, ball snapped. And the amount of power he has, I mean, this guy goes back 2 yards into the backfield, like it's over. So when you're running there and your guard is 2 yards in the backfield, and then you got your fill from, you guessed it, Caleb Downs, who else? I mean, that's just perfect defense. But again, when you see what Tyreek does, this is why I said, like, we're going to miss Tyreek next year, because he does this all the time where he gets his hands on these guys. And like the whole play is ruined right here because you give up that much penetration. And like he does that all the time. And he's such a load to block. Like he's like a Georgia defensive end. Like you don't usually see like guys. I mean, we've had good players, but he's like one of those Bama, Georgia first round guys. And that's why he's going to be a first round pick, I think. Unless he tests poorly. But good God, it's amazing. District Fire, thanks for the 10. Oh, threw up in my mouth when Gus Johnson was slobbering all over Gene Smith. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that was
Nevada, you
terrible.
go with this one first, and I'll come in.
Yeah, that was a low point for sure when he's like, I want to give the credit to the guy out there, and I'm like, oh, he's not going to say Gene Smith, is he? I mean, oh yeah, that was. I mean, that was bad. That's as good as the victory was, as good as I felt the thing. I'm not going to say that washed away all the good feeling, but that was a low point for sure because Gene is never has somebody done so little with so much as Gene Smith. He was an empty suit, but he was there for a long time, and yeah, Gus has some bad takes, but that was Hall of Fame worthy bad.
Well, it's like Gene's just so dumb. I mean, he set the foundation back. Like, when we were starting this NIL thing a couple years ago, and it was like we had cohesion, which was completely worthless. Then last year we had 1870 and cohesion. And so, like they do this 50-50 raffle now at the game, which they never used to do, but half the proceeds go to NIL. So, last year it went to 2 years ago, it went to cohesion. This year it went to or last year it went to 1870. Now that Gene is gone, thank God, it finally goes to the foundation. The foundation has been out raising those two like tenfold. And Gene hated the foundation. So guess what? He ends up, trying to help cohesion in 1870. And they were jokes. I mean, I know how much money they were raising, and it was crazy. Like he tried to make 1870 the football collective. They didn't raise any money. They made the foundation the basketball collective, and they were making a ton of money for basketball. Then all of a sudden, the foundation had to come bail out football because needed money for JJ and Caleb Downs and Will Howard. And I mean, Ryan Day he was like Kevin McAllister in Home Alone, like at FAO Schwartz, man. He was like buying everything and ringing up the credit card, and that's what it was. So I mean, but Gene, just in recency, I mean, the way he handled NIL was so terrible that I was just like, I was astonished because I'm like, the money people behind the foundation, like I'd probably bet on those guys instead of the morons that ran 1870. And again, I was right. The 1870 has been a disaster. And then like the cherry on top of the stupidity Sunday is the fact that they come out and say, we're going to raise money with Michigan and we're going to fight with our rivals to keep our rivals great. And we're going to raise money together. And I'm just like, who in the world is going to give money? And with your wording, people are thinking that half their money is going to go to Michigan. But again, when people are dumb and they're terrible at their jobs, that's what they do. And Gene Smith backed that. Now Ross Bjork shows up and magically the fundraising skyrockets because Ross is a real guy. He's a sharp guy, been around the SEC. He's going to improve the stadium stuff. And again, I just couldn't be a bigger upgrade. And it's great for us because it's great for Ohio State. But yeah, like I used to love Gus Johnson, but I can't. He's a mute now. Like you can't listen to him. And Nevada, your boy Joel Klatt has. I mean, it's like watching like Willie Mays fall down in center field playing for at the end of his career. Like that's what it's like now. But again, I digress. It's really bad.
Scooby.
Scooby is right.
Scooby Klatt.
Doobie K or David K. Thanks for the deuce. Downs to the house. Nevada OH. Caleb Downs is different, man. Should win the Thorpe this year if we promote him. I hope he does. Bobby Mack, thanks for the deuce. Iggy should wear boxing gloves in practice. Well, they put him in like they look like oven mitts. I mean, there's photos of him where they put these like oven mitts on to keep him from grabbing the jersey and tugging. It's almost like it's like his defense mechanism or his safety net is to grab people, and it's gonna hurt him, man. I mean, there are a lot of fellow scouts there. There were GMs there today, and all of a sudden you're sitting there and you've got 3 penalties in one game, like versus not a great team. It's not a good look. Nevada, your thoughts? Should Iggy wear boxing gloves in practice?
I mean, that's on OG Walt, man. Like he's got a. I've never seen anything like. Well, there's never been anything like it. There's never been a guy that has gotten this many pass interference penalties in a single season. I mean, he literally gets one every single game, and today he got multiples. So what do you have, 3 today?
Yeah, he had 3 today. He had 1 at the end of the game too. He had 2
Yeah,
on the
so
first
it's
drive. Then he had 1 at the end. I
2
mean,
on
he
the
had
first round.
3.
Yeah, 3, which is just, I mean, but that's on the position coach, because if you got a guy that's doing that, you either have to coach it out of him or you have to sit him. But you can't continue to play him,
Yeah.
because it's, no matter what, he's not that good that we can afford to give up that 3 pass interference call. That's on OG Walt. I don't know why that guy escapes any type of criticism, but people like Tim Walton, just because he's the Teflon man.
You think he's the new Teflon man?
Well, he is. He, like, when Denzel was, burnt in America at Outson, he was nobody would say the obvious thing, which was, hey, what about the position coach? But I mean, you've got a you've now got a guy that's, he clearly can't. I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but 3 pass interference penalties in one game. His 12th on the year or whatever it is. That's on the position coach, man. Walton's got to do a better job.
Yeah, it is interesting how some of the coaches skate. David Dickerhoof, thank you for the 50. Appreciate you, my friend. I hope you're having a great weekend up in Stark County. Are we going to see a 5-man front for OSU to stop the only Michigan, the only offense Michigan has? We can see some bear. We haven't really seen it, but I mean, it'd be a good time to bust it out, because if there's no threat of the throw game, then I think you could. But I'm going to break down a spicy Knowles blitz. I mean, he's been dialing it up, man. I mean, we might not see a 5-man front, but we can see some of this stuff where you've got the guys walked up in the gaps, and you got your linebackers, you got your safety. We're playing, man free, so you're man across the board here. You got your free out here. He's man there. And we run this blitz, and again, this is something where, like I talked about Indiana, the moment being too big for them. And that's this right here, because they've got enough guys to pick this up. I mean, we bring 5, we rush 5 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're in a 6-man protection, and they just blow it. Yeah, I mean, this back, they're putting the back on here. But it's just, and again, they're just not used to seeing these types of athletes. I mean, you got Jack, you got JT, they're getting off great. But I mean, the back just blows this, or the guard. I'm guessing it's the guard. I'm thinking that the center and the guard are on these two. The back's supposed to be here, but he's in outer space. So, again, that's why you run pressure stuff. That's why you blitz. I mean, this should be easy to pick up, but these guys, again, the moment was too big, and this is why you run pressure, because if one guy's wrong, then it's curtains, and Cody Simon gets home and meet at the quarterback. So again, Jim Knowles, I thought he called some great pressures, some exotic pressures, but you got to understand, like, a lot of times when there's a sack, some of it is great moves, some of it's a great call, some of it is just blowing a protection. And again, it's not that Indiana's guys are dumb or poorly coached, but they're under a lot of pressure, because like when you've got all those guys lined up in those gaps, you don't know which guys standing up are coming. And so they misplace where the running back should go, and it ends up that Cody Simon's a free hitter. So that's why you run pressure stuff, because like there's a chance that the offensive line and the running back might blow it, and they did, and you still get the sack. It doesn't say in the box score, it doesn't say, well, this sack was because Indiana's protection was terrible. And again, it wasn't a physical thing; it was a mental thing. So again, I love watching some of that stuff, but I can see some bear front. Again, when a team can't throw it, I mean, it makes it a lot easier to call a defense. So, we'll see what Jim Knowles has dialed up, but I just think we're just physically better than they are. So that makes it a lot easier to call defense. Joe Drain, what's up, brother? Thank you for the 5. The clock always strikes at midnight. Our portal additions, Howard Down, showed up in a big way today. The foundation is a godsend for us. Go Bucks. Yeah, and I saw Brian and Toria today, and again, those guys are fundraising because again, there's the next round is coming due, and David Sanders is in town, Tyler Atkinson's in town, 2 5-stars. Yeah, it's an active time, and Ohio State's the hottest brand in the country, so kids are very interested in rolling up here and checking stuff out. So again, when we tell you guys not to panic about David Sanders and stuff, it's because let the season play out, see how it goes. Because like when you're going against Tennessee, there's always a chance that Tennessee could screw the pooch because that's what Tennessee does every single year. And that the kid might say, "Wow, I might want to check out Ohio State because they're ascending to a different level at this point." The Fong, thank you for the 5. 5 from the Fong. If you have a question, toss that in there. That's Nevada's boy, the Fong, his favorite. Dub V Buckeye, thank you for the 5. The tab was due today for the suck remark. The big bill will come due next week for 3 years of cheating. Nevada OH. See you at the Grove at Nevadabuck's tree. The Nevadabuck Chinese. We'll be watching the Chinese UFC card on Nevadabuck's stream live on a what 72 on like 144-hour tape delay. We'll be watching the Chinese UFC fight and acting like it's real.
Oh man, don't be a hater about my tree. We're gonna gather around. I'm gonna swaddle the tree with the Linus blanket, and we're gonna give it the love that it deserves. There, so 3 hours before the game, we're gonna gather at the tree for Christmas Carol's tree lighting ceremony right there, and it's gonna be tremendous time.
Tree lighting ceremony. That'll be absolutely fantastic. I love it. Yeah. Well, it was a good day today, Nevada. Let's wrap this thing up. I think we got all of our super chats done. Any final thoughts?
I am just so excited. I'm so excited because I'm coming into town next week too. I'm so excited for the Buckeyes, for this great group, and it's all on the line, man. We get to play Michigan, and good luck, Michigan, coming in and you call them plays, and because I think the crowd makes a difference. You know, and people that say there are people that say, "Oh, crowd doesn't matter." I mean, it matters. It mattered today. It made a difference. There was a time early in the game where it's like 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 2, and they got a procedure penalty. They got to delay a game too. It matters, and we need to bring it next week. Need to make it especially hard on Michigan to call cadence, fire up the guys, and let's go get it done.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like the only people that say that crowd noise doesn't matter are people that have never played in crowd noise. I've played in crowd noise. Like I mean, playing at Penn State is a different animal than playing at home at the Horseshoe. Like again, because when you're the offense at home, it's quiet. It's so and playing on the road at Indiana isn't the same as playing on the road at Penn State. So crowd noise is a huge factor. And again, I know that people think, oh, that's malarkey, but it's just not. I mean, when we're loud, and again, the stadium. Kudos to our fans. Our fans are killing. It was loud, energetic, and the players can like feed on the energy of the crowd. Yeah, because again, when the crowd is annoyed, when they're booing us, because again, I've been booed off the field at the Horseshoe. I mean, it's completely fine. I've been booed off the field at halftime. We were booed in a spring game one time, so it's like, like that negative energy is great. But on the flip, the positive energy of the crowd going crazy, and again, when we converted the 3rd and 35 and we went for it on 4th down and we converted it all the way to a 1st down, the place went ballistic and it was awesome. And I was like, this is great. We have a very, very sharp fan base. And I always say, like, the folks, who follow our show specifically and follow Ohio State football, like they're smart. They want to know more about football. They want to know about what's going on. They want to learn, some of the scheme. I walk through some of the stuff when I telestrate, and it's like, they want to know what's really going on. And so when our crowd went crazy, I was like, this is one of the turning moments of the game because, when you're the underdog and you've got a team 3rd and 35 and you just got to hold them down a little bit to get them to punt and they convert it. I mean, that's the wind comes right out of the sails. It's almost like the boat capsizes in the middle of the ocean at that point. And then when your punter drops the ball, then you're not ready for the big time. So it is what it is. Nevada, any final thoughts? Let's wrap this thing up.
Now, just big shout out to the crowd. Made a difference. Yeah. Let's bring it next Saturday and make it really uncomfortable. Let's have a big win. Nice way to cap off the regular season. Get on to the Big Ten championship game.
Yep, cannot wait for it. With that being said, thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. Time to beat Michigan. It's Michigan week. Again, this is going to be a huge one. No better time to join BuckeyeScoop.com. Great. Get your Black Friday shopping out of the way and let's rock because the message board is on fire right now. If you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe. Also click that little alert bell. Again, we appreciate you guys for all that you guys do. If you guys want to do something awesome for us, follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It takes 5 seconds to do. It's completely free. It's basically, again, you guys leave great comments, give us great feedback. It's the nicest thing you can do for us is just follow our audio podcast because we're really trying to grow those and we need your help. So we appreciate you guys. So with that being said, thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. Thank you, Scoop family. B. Moses is up next at 5:30. He's got Jalen Marshall and Jalen's brother. He will be live on Buckeye Scoop's YouTube, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And thank you guys as always. We'll see you guys at 7 o'clock tomorrow. We'll have more film breakdowns tomorrow. You guys have a great night. Go Bucks.